What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Richard Prophet, and welcome back to the Prophet Realty Group channel, where we discuss different topics. You know, we talk real estate, we talk cigars, but tonight we're talking watches. It's Sunday night, so we're talking watches, Rolex in particular. Now, I'm sorry I got started a little late tonight. I just came from out. I went out and went to this Mexican restaurant. Even though I'm still on this new diet, it was a Mexican restaurant my buddy was telling me about. They had live mariachi, so I went to check it out. But my diet's been working so far. You know, I pulled out one of my older Hickey Freeman suits. I love the brand. I love Hickey Freeman. I love the cut. And it actually fits. I mean, I still got a little ways to go, but, it's working. So anyway, let's get into tonight's question. Now, tonight's question is for my guys out there, for the gentlemen out there. I'm sorry, ladies, but we'll have a question for the ladies afterwards. But tonight is for the gentlemen. And tonight's question is, how do you feel when you see a woman wearing a Rolex? Like whether it's a new client, whether it's a potential associate, or you're just at a restaurant, you're at a bar, you're at a lounge, and a woman walks in wearing a Rolex. I want to know how does that make you feel? Like, what runs through your mind? Now, fellas, I need answers on this. I need comments. I need questions. I need you to go below and tell me, how you feel about it. And it's weird. And, I'm always on YouTube and stuff. So a lot of these questions I type in and I see if anybody, with all these watch channels out there, I always, I look around and I see what other people think. And this question has never been asked. No one's ever made a video on this. And I don't understand it. All these watch channels, they do these long, bogus, lame-ass reviews about this watch or that watch or whatever. They're just reading off something. I want real watch experience from the real people that live this. So when you're out and you see a woman walk in and she's wearing a Rolex on her arm, I want to know, how do you feel? How does it make you feel? And I asked that question because I never really thought about it, but I'll give you a quick little story. I know a lot of people love my stories, so we're going to get into it. I'm becoming somewhat of a raconteur. All right. So anyway, my buddy is up from Atlanta the other night, right? And he calls me up, "Yo, Prophet, I want to hang out. I'm up here. Come on and have a few drinks." Okay, fine. Where you at? He's at a local bar by me, right? So I go, I meet him there. He's there by himself. We sit down, we have a few drinks. It's just like a lounge type of area. I mean, you can't smoke cigars there or anything, but it's nice. They got music, real cool vibe. So we're sitting down, we're talking, this and that. I was real casual. I was home, so I had on a red T-shirt. I mean, my red T-shirts that say "My New Place." I mean, if you've seen some of my other videos, whenever somebody gets a new place with us, I give them a T-shirt, "My New Place," whether I'm their landlord or whether I sold them a new place, I give them a T-shirt. So if you follow the channel, you've seen those red T-shirts that I have before. So I had on a red T-shirt, and I had on some jeans, actually, and just a pair of just a little pair of loafers, right? So yeah, I was super casual. Oh, and I had on the Pepsi. I was wearing a Pepsi because it was red and blue. It was matching my outfit, so I was coordinated, right? So I get there, and I hug my bro, say what's up. So we sit down, we start having a few drinks, and reminds me I'm drinking wine tonight, which actually goes with the theme of tonight. So what is this? A little Malbec. So yeah, so he says he invites a friend over. And I say, okay. And so we're there, we're talking for a little bit, and then his friend shows up, female, and she comes in, and immediately, for some reason, I don't know why it wasn't, but I zoomed in on her wrist, and you know, I don't really do that. I'll be honest with you. I do that on guys a lot. You know, when I'm kind of like sizing up the situation, whether it's a potential investor, potential buyer, potential business associate, I kind of glance at his wrist. I want to know, you know, what's he got on his wrist. And I remember as a child, well, as a younger person, I was into sneakers. So I would always look down at a person's sneakers to see which sneakers they were wearing. And it's weird now as an adult, when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, I usually look down at their wrist to see what they have on. Yeah, you know, because first of all, I don't trust any guy that doesn't wear a watch. That's first of all. Yeah. So anyway, but I never do that with women, right? I've never done that with a female. But for some reason, this young lady walks in, and first of all, I recognize her right away because she's like semi-famous. She's like like a model, you know, she's like a model, and she's got, I don't know, like 4 million followers on Instagram or something. I mean, she's like semi-famous, right? So I recognize her. My buddy tells me that I met her once before. I don't really remember, but so she comes in, right? So, and for some reason, I look down on her wrist, and I'm like, what can it be? Because I saw the bracelet a little bit, and then could it be? And then when she sits down and turns around, I'm like, goodness gracious, she's wearing a Rolex. She's wearing a two-tone Daytona, right? You know, the last model, two-tone Daytona, right? And I'm like, wow, she actually has a Rolex on, and I'm like, I'm kind of taken aback for a second, and I'm like, oh, you know, nice watch. You're into watches? And she's like, yeah, I noticed that you had on the Pepsi as soon as I walked in. I'm like, not only was she wearing a Rolex, but she knew about Rolex, because she knew. How did you know that I'm wearing a Pepsi? Not only is it a Rolex, but it's a Pepsi. How did you know that? So obviously she's into watches. Then we started talking a little bit about watches. She said, yeah, I got a collection. You know, I got this, I got that. I'm like, what? Are women into watches now? Are women not only, you know, oh, I want a gold Rolex, but you're into watches? You have a this, you have a that, you have a, you know, when did women get into watches? And I didn't know how I felt about it, because I never really thought about it. Like fellas out there, you gotta help me out, because I've never really seen a woman wearing a Rolex before. I don't know, has it just slipped my mind? Have I not been paying attention? But I don't think I've ever really seen a woman wearing a Rolex. Now, I mean, other than when I'm at the Rolex building, you know, the Rolex service center or whatever, you know, sometimes you see one or two women there getting their watches serviced or whatever. But, you know, out in the wild, I've never really seen a woman wearing a Rolex. And it, you know, it kind of like, it began thinking like, I began to think like, I didn't know how I felt about that. Not only was she wearing a Rolex, but she knew about watches. You know, she knew what the latest watch was, and she had a collection. She started saying what type of watches she had. I mean, obviously she's doing well and stuff, but it kind of threw me for a loop. Like, I know women are into shoes, they're into bags, but now they're into watches. And I don't know how I felt about that. So gentlemen out there, I need you to tell me, like, how do you feel when a woman comes around you, whether it's an associate, whether it's a potential client, whether it's an investor, whatever. How do you feel when a woman walks in and she's got a beautiful Rolex on her arm, I mean, what do you think? You think, oh man, uh, this woman, appreciates quality. She's looking for great value for money. She's, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about it. Or she a gold digger. She wants somebody wearing a Rolex. I don't know. It kind of, now I'm thinking about it because it had me confused. I was like dumbfounded. So, yeah, this is a question that I need my guys to help me out there. All you fellas out there, Rolex lovers, when you see a woman wearing a Rolex, what goes through your head? Immediately, what goes on in your head? Do you think, oh man, this woman must be a gold digger, she's into Rolex? Or do you think, ooh, this woman appreciates nice things. She wants value for money. She's looking for a safe place to park her money without losing anything and possibly making money in the future. And suppose she knows that she just doesn't have some, 1988 Rolex with, aftermarket cheapy diamonds on it. She actually knows about the watch. What's the latest watch? What's this? What that? And she appreciates a classic original just from the dealer. And if you're gonna get diamonds on it, it's all dealer diamonds. How do you feel about that? How do you feel if the woman knows more about horology than you do? Oh man, or her collection is better than yours. You know what I mean? Because after that happened, I started like asking around, and I met another woman that has 10 pieces, 10 Rolex watches. I couldn't believe it. One of the watches in her collection is a two-tone, the Yachtmaster 2. And the Yachtmaster 2 is a big face. I believe it's 44 millimeter. And I'm like, wow, this woman will wear this? And so I didn't even know that women are really into some women are really into watches. And I don't know how that made me feel. So gentlemen, please comment below. Tell me, have you ever seen a woman wearing a Rolex? What's been your experience with a woman wearing a Rolex? And well, the first time you saw a woman wearing a Rolex, how did it make you feel? Were you taken aback, or did you appreciate it, or or let me ask you this: suppose you're in a bar, nightclub, lounge, whatever, and you're a single guy, and you stare across the way, and you see a young lady you may be interested in, and she picks up her drink or whatever, and you noticed her wrist. And she's got a Rolex Submariner, aka the landlord watch, on her wrist. How are you gonna feel about that? I mean, has anybody had that experience before? Because on this channel we want true watch experience from the people that really lived it. We don't want any guessing. This is true watch experience. When you saw that on her wrist, how did you make you feel? Did you want to go over there and approach her and maybe break the ice, talk about her watch, or did you get intimidated and say, "Oh man, this girl has a Rolex on her wrist. Let me stay away." I don't know. So that is the question of the day, my friends. That is the question of the day. How do you feel, or what goes in your mind when a woman walks in the room and she's wearing a Rolex? What's the first thing you think about? That's the question today. That's the question of tonight. Leave it in the comments below, and I promise you I will answer or discuss each and every question that you leave in the comments. I'm Richard Prophet. This is the Prophet Realty Group channel, where throughout the week we discuss stuff, but Sunday nights we talk watches. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, nice watch. I know. Yeah, nice watch. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Hello, Mr. Nice Watch.